Hey everybody, welcome back to Gideon Stuff, and welcome to a unboxing video. And this is a special one. Ouch, I'm sitting on my wallet. It's never a good idea. This is a special one because this is the first of maybe a few upcoming holiday special unboxings. That's right, it's that time of the year, guys, where Walmart and all your other places are going to start stocking their holiday gift pack type of things. I love looking through these gift packs and finding hidden gems. I think it's a lot of fun. You know, we love doing stuff like that on this channel. And today we're starting us off with a banger. We're starting with Camillus. You guys know on this channel I love Camillus. Also, this is my tent and my backpack. I just got back from a little expedition. And that's kind of what my couch is. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not here in my apartment very often. I'm either at work or in the wilderness. And so, like, honestly, my couch is kind of just a place for my gear to sit while I come home and sleep for a little bit until I grab it and run off into the wild blue yonder again. Ask anyone who's ever been to my place. My house is basically just a place for my current projects to sit in storage while I'm not working on them. So anyways, yeah, we are taking a look at this Camillus pack. This is the adventure pack. Now, a couple years ago, I was looking at some of these packs, and they had like the warrior pack, the adventure pack, and stuff. So they're reusing the adventure pack name, but this is a completely different gear set. Also, I'm not sure how many of these holiday specials we're going to look at this year because they've gotten expensive. This was $30. Yikes. You know, even last year, which, you know, saw prices go up a little bit too, it was like, you know, kind of hee ha ha. You know, these big packs that came with multiple knives would be like 15 to 20 bucks. You know, back then, I still didn't look at every single one that got released by every single company because, of course not. But it was a little more, you know, a little easier to kind of take my membership money and go and get something. And by the way, thank you to the channel members for making this possible. It is because of you guys that I, you know, go to Wally World and buy something random like this to share with the channel. But even with that support, I mean, gosh, these are getting expensive. Like last year, this probably would have been like 20 bucks, 25 bucks maybe. I don't know. Anyways, let's go ahead and stop the preamble and the BS and let's get into this. So, as I already said, I'm a huge fan of Camillus. You guys know this. And this set immediately caught my mind. We've got 3 knives in here. We have a machete, a fixed blade knife, and a folding knife. As you can see, they're all, you know, very helpfully labeled. What's interesting is the machete is the Carnivore X2. I don't know why they didn't just label it as the Carnivore X2. Even on the back, they just have it labeled as, you know, generic machete. But this is a Carnivore X2. The Carnivore is one of Camillus's, I think, most recognizable products. They've been making this for years at this point. I used to have a Carnivore. Unfortunately, it was stolen. My truck was broken into about, well, how long ago was that? Like a year and a half? 2 years ago, almost. Which is a shame because I really liked that tool. I've got a lot of cool stories with that tool. I'm not going to tell them here. I've told them in other places, but yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's just bust into this. Let's read the back real quick because I know you guys love wasting time like this. Gotta read this in like a movie trailer voice.
Camillus, unparalleled, unprecedented, and unleashed. Since 1876, Camillus Cutlery has been supplying the world with reliable, innovative, and quality-made knives that have survived the true test of time. As one of the oldest knife manufacturers, Camillus Cutlery has always answered the call for quality and will continue to do so with our hunting, sporting, tactical knives, and tools. Craftsmanship with a worldwide following. It's been the Camillus way for over 140 years.
And now my throat's going to hurt for the rest of this video. But let's go ahead and bust into this. little set. Let's start with this fixed blade because I have had this little fixed blade knife before. Oh, by the way, we're breaking into this with the Kershaw Blur that was sent to the channel by Zach. I've been trying my best to carry and use this knife a little bit. I've just kind of started this process. I have been absolutely obsessed with the Hinder Jurassic that he sent me, and so it's been really hard to put that out of my pocket and try carrying something else, but this is an excellent knife. I've been loving this. If it wasn't for that Hinder Jurassic, this would have been the knife, the folding knife at least, that he sent in that package that I was the most interested in and the most excited to carry. So, anyways, this little fixed blade knife, if I remember right, this is exactly the same design as the little like secondary fixed blade knife that came with my previous carnivore. That one they had a, they were in a, both shared the same sheath. This one looks a little bit different. My gosh, you gotta hate blister packs. Ah, mother trucker. Trying to get the sheath out. Oh my gosh. The best part of the holidays, right? Dealing with plastic wrap. Insert joke about consumerism and plastic products here. Okay, so actually this does seem a little slightly different actually. It seems like the blade's a little bit narrower. So this is kind of a multi-tool thing. Let's see what they say about here. Okay, they don't say anything about it. This one has the shortest description listed, but they say that the blade material is 3CR13. All of these are kind of Camillus's go-to for their budgety, very budgety knives. Blade length 2 inches, overall length 5 inches. Okay, not a whole lot of helpful info there. But looks like we've got some different hex heads, like little bit drivers right there. We've got some notches back here, and the one that I had previously, one of these notches, if I remember right, was actually like a strap cutter. And we do have a very, very thin, narrow little blade. Here's the little sheath it comes with. I'm guessing it goes in like this. We've got the little Camillus dagger, which I always like, and then we do have like a little push-off point here. Kind of just like pressure fit in there, although it kind of looks like this little thing's trying to like be a little claw that digs into this tang of the knife, but it's not really what's happening. I'm probably going to lose this as soon as this video is over. This is not something I'm ever going to use, carry, or think about ever in my life. And so, yeah, complete throwaway item in my opinion. I should probably grab some paper so we can do some sharpness testing. Do I have any paper lying around here? I should. I've always got paper somewhere. I do have a lot of paper around here, but not paper that I can cut. Oh, look at that. Ugh. Junk mail. Okay. Ooh, AAA propaganda. Love it. Yeah, no. Okay. Let's see if this thing has an edge on it. It does, actually. Kind of a rough edge, but very sharp. It's very toothy. Very toothy, but it is actually reasonably sharp. Yeah. Actually kind of surprised. I expected it to be dull as a spoon, so there we go. Okay, that one is done. All right, let's go ahead and get the folding knife out. Now, I don't know if the folding knife actually has a name. Again, they just have this labeled as a machete when it is, I mean, it says it on the blade, Carnivore X2. So we'll see what the folding knife says. Oh, wow, and this one's going to be a lot easier to open. The plastic around that little fixed blade was a bear to get through, but this is rather easy. All right, so here is our folding knife. Pretty plain looking knife. We have a hollow ground blade, a kind of robust hollow grind. 3CR steel on the blade, GFN, glass-filled nylon on the handles, so plastic. Drop point blade. I will agree with that. Kind of looks like a straight clip point when you just look at it, but that is... We've got some convexity there, so we'll call that a drop point. 3.25 inch blade length and 7.75 inch overall length. Okay, so I see here we got thumb studs and a flipper, and it looks like we're on Teflon washer, so this is probably not going to be a great experience. Got a little interesting shaped lanyard hole there. You can see it's kind of like an oval. Very narrow. I'm not sure what kind of, like, that's definitely not going to work for paracord, but whatever. Tip down clip. Kind of the, basic cheapo knife clip, except it's got the Camillus dagger in there, so it's automatically better. And lockup is sitting at about 50%. All right, see what we got here. Oh, that actually felt very smooth. That was weird. Flat scales, well, I do have some, nice chamfering going on. Centering is actually, let's hold this up so you guys can see, perfect, which is nice to see. It is a manual knife. Ergos, a little bit of a hot spot right here that's kind of thin. And I can, the flesh of my hand kind of falls into the crack here. Forms a little bit of a hot spot, but not bad. Pretty neutral otherwise. Got a little bit of jimping on the spine. The scales are a little bit higher. Like this is higher than the blade, which kind of annoys me. But again, cheapo knife. This is a manual knife. On Teflon washers. And the So I am someone that has enjoyed Teflon washer knives in the past. Some of my favorite knives actually run on Teflon washers, like my CRKT tuna. Teflon washers, I love that knife. It's one of my favorite knives in my collection. I do not talk about that knife enough. Absolutely love that knife. I EDC'd that knife for a very, very long time. Held up great. I'm not an automatic Teflon washer hater, but a lot of times Teflon washers can be a little bit frustrating, especially if it's on a knife of this kind of caliber. But this Kershaw has dialed that detent perfectly. Like, this is an awesome detent to achieve the kind of action that we're getting here. And it does feel really smooth on the close. This is like, I'm kind of blown away. Let's see what we have the slightest bit of side to side, no up and down. Love to see that. A couple of the Ozark Trail knives I've taken a look at recently have had up and down play issues. Access to the lock bar is really, really good. I mean, look, it's very plain. It's made out of subpar materials, to say the least. But I gotta say, it works. This is it's a plain design, but this is definitely a design that is going to function as a pocket knife fairly well. 3 CRs on the right home about, but you've got reasonable blade stock. You actually come down to a reasonably thin edge. It is a hollow grind. Again, not the deepest I've ever felt, but that's going to work. It feels pretty slicey. Let's go ahead and test the sharpness. Where did I put my sacrificial AAA thing? Yeah, it's got an edge on it too. A little bit of a less toothy edge than that little fixed blade had. Oh my gosh. I'm going to have little shitlings of paper all over my floor. That's okay. That's okay. Ah! I own a broom. Yeah. Not gonna lie. I am kind of I'm very pleasantly surprised. I was not expecting much from this knife, but it is pretty freaking dope, actually. I'm pretty happy with that. In fact, I'm very happy with that. That's a freaking junk drawer knife for sure. That's a toolbox knife. That's a glove box knife. In fact, that knife right there might go in the glove box. That's pretty cool. I was not expecting it to be, functional at all. So, I mean, I was expecting it. I'm not sure what I was expecting. I just wasn't expecting to be that impressed. All right, let's go ahead and get this carnivore out of here. So, as mentioned, I've had a carnivore before. I've never had a carnivore X2 before. This is the smaller variation, but I did have a bigger one. And again, it got stolen from me. Whatever. This is probably Camillus' most, well-known, most iconic product of their modern line. And there it is. It's definitely got a very distinctive look. Now, how functional is the Carnivore X squared or whatever it is? The Carnivore X2. It actually does look like the Carnivore X squared. How useful is this design? Arguably useful. I actually, again, I used to carry one of these in my truck, and I did use it on several occasions. One notable occasion, I said I wasn't going to tell the story, but we're already, 18 minutes into this thing, so I might as well tell a story. One of the occasions where I used this was I went out in the mountains for a little cookout. It was me, my cousin Austin, and his wife, at the time fiance, and we got my truck stuck in a puddle. And what happened was, it'd been rainy and stuff the night before. We were going down this old logging road, and there was this big hole in the road that we didn't really see, or that I didn't see, because not only was it muddy, but there was a layer of pine needles across the top of this puddle, and so it was hard to tell where the puddle stopped and where the ground started. Anyways, I drove into this puddle, and there was this big root underneath there, and we drove in, we got stuck, and this big root was binding up my tire. And so we hopped out, and we got down in the mud, and used the carnivore to saw and hack that root away, and it worked, and we got the truck out. But and that's an abridged version of the story, but I mean, it's definitely a unique thing. So this little portion up here is not sharp at all. This little portion is sharp. Of course, this is sharp. And this saw back here is actually a little bit different than the saw in the Camillus I had. It's like each of the teeth has a little concavity to it. So it basically makes each tooth into 2 teeth, which is kind of cool. It's like each saw tooth is serrated, which is kind of interesting. They are offset from each other, which is what you want on a knife like this. I'm not sure how well this saw is going to work. Maybe I'll have to test that out. Hard plastic handle. What do they call this handle? Asbestos. ABS. Not asbestos, but whatever. What does ABS stand for? I don't even know. 8.5-inch blade. 13-inch overall. Polyester sheath, which we see right there. I have been wanting to get another Camillus to replace the one that was stolen from me, just because this is a special knife for me. And it's special because when I was a kid, I always wanted one of these, and my cousin Austin got one, and I was really, really jealous. I was so jealous of him. And then I got one later on in life, and it was just kind of fun. Um, Again, is this particularly useful? I don't know. Uh, Especially this one right here, that is definitely more of a large knife than a machete. Like, some of the other ones are, quite a bit bigger. Some of the other versions. They've also got a version now that's more tonto. That's more of a tonto, so it has a sharpened tip. This one, I'm not sure why it's like that, except for like digging and stuff. But yeah, hollow ground on the sharp sections. Maybe I'll have to do a review on this. In fact, I will do a review on this. Very slippery handle. What would I use this knife for? I don't really know. This does not really fit into my requirements for a fixed blade knife. But it is kind of cool to have. It is kind of badass. Let's test that sharpness. A couple little hang-ups in there, but it's sharp, especially for a machete style knife. Yeah, there's like a burr on there at one point. It's okay. We've also got a strap cutter back here. Let's go ahead and see if that is any sharp. Kind of. Yeah, kind of goofy. I have a feeling that most of the price of this little pack went to this. Again, $30, and now I'm kind of thinking like maybe I should look up how much this costs, because I will say in some of the other Camillus packs that we did like last year, their big fixed blade was very very cheap, right? This does feel a little bit more like an actual item, I guess. So maybe the price of this little package is justified, because I can't imagine the Carnivore X2 goes for, it's got to be about like, I imagine it's probably a $20 to $25 knife, and then you're getting the little folding knife, which is actually a decent knife, and of course the little fart blade or whatever. So maybe this pack is not that overpriced. I'm gonna have to think about that. We'll look up the price of one of these by itself. But let's go ahead and talk about the sheath. Been neglecting the sheath. So, yep, it's a polyester or nylon sheath. It's got a little strap here for the handle. We've all seen sheaths like this. It's your basic go-to cheapo knife sheath. Turns your knife into a little paddle. Obviously after a couple of months, the saw and the edge of the knife are going to absolutely shred your nylon. Looks like we do have a plastic insert, which is cool. That'll, delay the shredding for a couple of days. But yeah, there we go. We are kicking off the holiday season with a pretty cool pack of knives from Camillus. I just noticed now. How did I overlook this? I just noticed now it says X2, like on the handle, really, really big. So cool. I am glad to have a Carnivore back in the collection. Not gonna lie. I'm a huge fan of Camillus, so it's always bummed me out that my other one got stolen. So here we go. We got a new one. I was really, really impressed with the folding knife. Actually, this is pretty cool. It's not groundbreaking, but this is a neat little knife. And then this is, like basically completely useless and disposable. I think this would make a great gift pack for someone, especially if you got any, teenage boys in your life. This would probably go over very well at Christmas time. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. We'll see how some of the other packs this year are priced, and I'll decide which ones that we're going to take a look at. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. A big shout out to my channel members at the Cowboy level. I appreciate everything they do for the channel. If you want to become a member and support me directly, there's a link down below. As for the rest of you hooligans, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment below, and subscribe. Until next time, I've been Gideon. Merry Christmas.